All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're exploring how artificial intelligence is fundamentally reshaping our entire world. I mean, we're seeing everything from AI writing incredibly complex code to generating hyper-realistic video from scratch. But while we're all, totally captivated by these shiny new applications, there is this hidden, high-stakes crisis quietly brewing right behind the scenes. It's a crisis all about how these foundation models actually learn, and more importantly, what on earth happens when their primary food source just runs dry? We are looking at a complete, massive paradigm shift in how we extract knowledge. So, what happens when AI runs out of the internet? It's a pretty provocative question, isn't it? And it fundamentally challenges this common misconception we all kind of have, that AI can just act like this digital Pac-Man, endlessly eating the entire internet to get smarter forever. For years, the prevailing logic in the tech world was simple. Just scrape more websites, feed more raw data into the machine, and boom, watch the intelligence scale up. But as we're about to see, the digital footprint of human civilization, it's actually not an infinite resource. Get a load of this timeline, because these numbers are genuinely startling. According to deep research from Epic AI, 2026 to 2032 is the exact window when humanity's total public text data will be completely exhausted. Let's break that down real quick. The really high-quality stuff, books, academic papers, highly curated websites, that's projected to be fully consumed by AI models between 2026 and 2028. And even if we completely scrape the bottom of the barrel, gobbling up every single low-quality social media post out there, we still hit an absolute ceiling by 2030 or 2032. Which means we are slamming face first into what researchers call the data wall. This looming, very real physical limit means that simply throwing more brute force computing power at AI, it's just not going to work anymore. Think about it. If the rate at which we create new data can't keep up with the exponential explosion of GPU computing power, then running more training cycles on the exact same old data just leads to catastrophic model overfitting. The AI literally doesn't get smarter, it just awkwardly memorizes its past lessons to a fault. Okay, take a look at this donut chart. Researchers call this the iron triangle of emergent intelligence. You've got three main slices: model architecture, compute clusters, and dataset engineering. Now, right now, complex architectures, like mixture of experts, where tasks are divided among specialized subnetworks, they're basically becoming industry standard. And massive compute clusters of, say, 100,000 GPUs, that's just the table stakes to even play the game. So as those two factors become totally homogenized, dataset engineering has transformed from just being a resource into the absolute crucial steering wheel. Data is now the anchor that sets the hard upper limit on a model's intelligence. To put that into perspective, let's look at how the actual math of AI scaling has evolved. Back in 2020, the Kaplan era, we thought simply brute forcing more parameters directly equaled better performance. But then, 2022 hits, and the chinchilla breakthrough totally shocks the industry by proving models were actually severely undertrained. It turns out you need to scale data and compute equally. Now fast forward to 2024 and 2025. As we face down that data wall, we've entered the quality-sensitive frontier. It's no longer a brute force parameter race at all. Now it's this delicate, almost desperate pursuit of knowledge density just to survive. All right, so let's move into stages I and I, from primitive accumulation to intent capture. To really understand how the industry plans to climb over this impending data wall, we need to quickly contrast the early eras of AI development. Stage 1 was the era of indiscriminate crawling, basically panning for gold in the sand. Developers just grabbed massive volumes of the public web with super coarse filtering. Sure, it gave models basic language abilities, but it also resulted in extreme, wild hallucinations. So, stage 2 was a sharp pivot to fine-grained annotation. This meant deep human intervention. You had experts manually writing high-quality instructions to teach the AI human logic. It was incredibly precise, but, as you can guess, heavily bottlenecked by human speed and human cost. And the crazy thing is, we can see this exact progression play out across absolutely every medium on this table. Early text models in Stage 1 suffered from cognitive mediocrity because of all the web noise, forcing Stage 2's reliance on human experts, which obviously hit a productivity ceiling fast. But in the video domain, it was even worse. Stage 1 video models literally just learned pixel displacement. The result? Generated videos that completely lacked actual physical common sense, like gravity or inertia. And even with human demonstrators in Stage 2, the idea of manually annotating every single frame for basic physics was just absurdly expensive. Which naturally brings us to Stage 3, the era of AI synthesis.
Faced with massive expenses and the undeniable ceiling of human productivity, the AI industry realized something major. They couldn't possibly hire enough humans to cross the data wall. So they unleashed a radical new paradigm. They started using AI to synthesize its own training data. This became a massive lever for scale. Text models started using frameworks like self-instruct to autonomously generate textbook-level logic. Code models began reverse engineering complex software problems to teach themselves. For images, models like DALL-E 3 totally abandoned raw internet captions and used AI to recaption billions of images with insane semantic detail. AI essentially became this massive, automated factory for expanding knowledge way beyond human limits. But there's a catch. Relying purely on machines to teach machines created a genuinely terrifying new threat, one rigorously identified by the journal Nature in 2024. It's called model collapse. See, because AI-generated data totally lacks the messy, chaotic, long-tail distribution of real human thought, the model's cognition begins to converge and shrink in on itself. If it iteratively trains on its own synthetic data long enough, it literally forgets the complex reality of the real world. It just starts outputting meaningless, fuzzy noise. It's exactly like a digital version of making a photocopy of a photocopy. Eventually, everything just fades to gray. So how do we fix that? Enter stage 4. Human-machine collaborative evolution. To combat this terrifying cognitive entropy, data engineering is taking an evolutionary leap right now, and it brings humans right back into the loop. But not as low-level data movers or manual labelers. No, this time we are high-level evaluators. It creates this beautiful self-adaptive ecosystem. Step 1, humans provide the guardrails, setting the core rules and values. Step 2, the AI acts as the evolutionary engine, generating synthetic data and exploring possibilities at a scale humans never, ever could. And finally, step 3, humans step back in to audit the results. We act as truth anchors to ensure the AI hasn't drifted off into total hallucinations. We literally spiral intelligence upwards together. And we're seeing this symbiotic loop in action across all domains right now. In text, it's constitutional AI, where human rules directly guide the chatbot's safety. In images, humans are applying real-time aesthetic filters to steer visual generation. Look at code generation. Models like DeepSeek are evolving through sandbox execution. The AI writes the code, the compiler fails it, and the AI learns from the physical, rigid constraint of the error message. And for video, Meta's MovieGen relies on fine-grained human scoring to anchor spatial-temporal physical truth. That ensures the AI's generations aren't just pretty to look at, but actually logically obey the fundamental laws of physics. Now, what is truly fascinating here, and I absolutely love this, is the dialectical unity it reveals. There used to be this big debate: would AI synthetic data just completely replace human annotation? But this shows they are literally two sides of the exact same coin. Humans inject the brilliant, chaotic entropy. Our expert thought paths, our unique aesthetic intuition, those rare edge cases. That's the high-value seed. The AI then takes that seed and amplifies the efficiency, diffusing our scarce human knowledge across massive trillion-parameter spaces. Which brings us to the future of the industry, the knowledge architects. This fundamental shift is completely restructuring the massive AI data service industry. Companies can't survive anymore just running sweatshops of human labelers to supply raw data fuel. They have to transform into knowledge architects. So what does that look like? First, building decentralized global expert networks. Think proof of knowledge, crypto-style incentives that actually reward top-tier scientists and engineers for providing complex logical feedback. Second, aggressively using real, high-quality human data as a regularizer during training to prevent that terrifying model collapse we talked about. And finally, decoupling knowledge from parameters, treating data as a protocol. Just look at this quote. It perfectly, completely summarizes the ultimate vision here. Knowledge as a service. In a very near future, large models will act as inference engines that constantly call upon external, human-vetted knowledge bases in real time. We're completely moving away from the era where a model is pre-trained on some massive offline file, only to be instantly outdated the literal day it launches. Instead, it's going to plug into a dynamic, constantly verified grid of combined human and synthetic intelligence. So, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. As we hurtle at breakneck speed toward artificial general intelligence and the well of public internet data officially starts to dry up, the machine's survival actually depends entirely on us. Our role is profoundly transforming. We're no longer just passively feeding the machine raw data. We are actively guarding the truth, the logic, and the very aesthetics of human civilization in the digital space. We aren't just users of AI anymore. We are its truth anchors. The only question left is, are we actually ready for that responsibility?